course, it's hard to do everything by hand the way our society is structured. Everything's powered by machines. And I want to describe to you a little bit of the philosophy here. And that is to produce a surplus. And a lot of people like to break this down into an energy surplus, how much energy was put into the effort and how much energy was produced by the effort. And of course you subtract one from the other to find out whether you're in the positive or the negative. Well, I've taken it one step further. I want to convert the energy into calories. So for instance, a gallon of gasoline is 30,000 calories. That's a lot of calories. And if you're using gasoline or any type of fossil fuels to produce a crop, if you really want to be technical about this and you really want to say this is a surplus, you have to do this type of a calculation. If you use a lot of fossil fuel energy, it's almost impossible to come out with a positive return. So my philosophy here in my backyard is to structure it all through design to be as least dependent on fossil fuels as possible. Okay, now I can't have animals in the city here, so that's one of my weaknesses on this property is I go and get manure. But I'm also trying to stack other things in the trip. I'm going to do something else in that area. So if I got to go 5 miles away for the horse manure, I'm trying to do something else over there, like go fishing. So if it wasn't for that weakness, if I had animals here, I think pretty much I could produce a surplus day in and day out, because I wouldn't have to go get the manure. So again, this is the philosophy of my property. I want to produce a surplus, a true technical surplus. I want to be putting less calories into the property than what the property can produce. And I think I'm way over that already. I think I'm already there. But there's always room for improvement. And my design isn't quite complete yet. When it's complete, we're going to have a pretty good system here. It's going to be a positive. Oh, and one other thing. Not only am I producing a surplus here, but also I'm producing very high nutritious food because of the compost, because of the ingredients of my compost, and because of the methods of my compost. So I'm also saving on grocery bills, money-wise, and I'm also saving on medical bills, health-wise. No matter what direction you look at this property, it's a positive. And I'm not even quite done with the design yet. You know, I think it's going to take me another summer other than this summer to totally finish it. When it's finished, it's all going to be circling back into itself. It's going to produce its own nutrients, and it's going to produce all the food without any inputs at all from the outside. And one reason why we can do this is this compost, this method of composting, the material that's finished lasts 17 years in the soil. That's a long time. And by that time I'm going to have all these trees all producing a surplus of leaves and stems, and I'm going to be recycling that back into the main crop gardens as well. So that's the plan, and we're working the plan. So thanks for watching. All my barrel's full. I'm going to put a cap on her and start draining her tomorrow. All the chunky material or the slurry material or the goop. How about the goop? I'm making compost goop or goo, compost goo. So the goo I'll put on beds in the main crop garden, and all of the liquid that I drain off, I'll use that for compost tea. Yeah, look at that. That's some really serious goop there. No smell at all because it's all been composted. Definitely breaking those really big chunks apart. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when I strain it. Get a load of all this. Ooh, it's heavy. Oh, look at that. That is some beautiful material. Those are all the compost fines. So I'm going to be using these to fill up my pots that I'm growing potatoes in. Look at that. That is so nice. You can't buy that. Not with this method. Not with the ingredients I've got in it. You can't buy it because I'm not selling it. With all the hours I got put into it, I'd probably have to charge you $10 just for that little handful. A few sticks in there. See, this is what I was filtering out. Some of them probably got off to the side of the sifter and dropped down. This is the sort of thing that was holding all that compost together. All these little sticks. These are actually stems of the material I was putting in it. Should have taken another 4 or 5 turns to get that fully compost, and I don't have the time anymore. Got to start planting. Okay, nice. So now I'm going to fill up the pots with this right now. Okay, now we're going to grow some potatoes. Look, I found more stinging nettle. That is ripened compost chunks. That is some fertility there. Oh. So I'm watering Soil Life right now. There's no seeds in here. But we want a Soil Life to kick this off. Bacteria to eat bacteria, protozoas, nematodes, flagellates, larger critters, worms, roly-polies. Get them all eating in here. Eating each other, eating the bacteria, eating the green material, eating the compost. And all of the excrements of the Soil Life is what our plants are going to eat. That's the beauty of it. That's enough for today. So the next step is to plant them up. Corn, beans, and squash, the three sisters. Okay, right here we have compost liquid from the Compost Goo. And now we're going to turn it into compost tea. See how frothy that gets? That excites that stuff. It wants to live. And it's going to live in my garden and feed my plants. There, that's rainwater. So now I'm going to add it to my garden beds. Okay, here's our compost tea in a bucket. No fancy spray nozzles or no machines to make compost tea with. Just simple, right to the point application. My beds are already filled with this type of compost that I make. So this compost tea is just going to excite it all. Get excited. Get all that soil life just moving. Eating the bacteria, eating other life, eating each other, and all the secretions are what my garlic here is going to be eating and growing on. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, next bed. This here is my compost goo. If you remember, that was created by putting the large chunks after I sifted it into that barrel and I filled it with water. And then I took the water as compost tea. Now I'm going to use this compost goo. I don't know what's more better, this compost goo in the forest garden or the siftings in the pot, or the compost tea on the garden beds. It's all good stuff. Here I am in my little urban food forest, and I'm spreading the goo. There's the goo. Got a little straw in here. I'm putting straw over top of it. Alright. That's going to liven her up in here. Yeah, I'm spreading more goo. Chasing the bunnies out. Woo! Looks good. No straw here, so I'll throw some green grass on it. So that was a highly fertile educational session here. And I've been doing this to my backyard here since 2013, making all this high-grade compost. And you can really tell it by all the lush growth. I mean, I'm turning this backyard almost into a food production center and a jungle. So, until the next time, thanks for watching.